Welcome to IGNU MOOCs. This is FEG-1 Block 3. Topics to be covered are question patterns, writing a story from the point of view of one of the characters. Now, what are the different type of questions? Just there are different sentence patterns. There are also different question patterns. Now, what are these? The first are WH questions. In English, there are 7 WH questions. They are what, which, where, who, why, when, and how. You know how we ask questions. What is your name? Which color is this? Where do you live? Who are you? Why have you come? When will you come? How are you? Now these are the different WH questions. Now another are where WH is there, be, then subject, or WH, do, does, plus subject, plus verb. This, how is it? Which is your favorite season? Now here the WH word is which, then here is helping verb, then subject, and then verb. Where do you live? Where, whose car is that? Now just see how these questions are set into a particular pattern where WH question word is there, then helping verb is there, subject and the verb. So this is the pattern where WH question are used. Now second type are the yes and no questions. Now what are these yes and no questions? These are the questions to which the answers are either yes or no. Now the structure will be the verb and subject. Yes or no questions always begin with one of the verbs and can be answered with a simple yes or no, or with the question repeated as a statement. Now let's see some examples. Is Joe here today? We'll say either yes or no. Do you play baseball? Either you'll say yes or no. Do they want a pen? Either the answer is yes or no. Now question tags. Now what are question tags? Question tags are, let's see some examples first to understand question tags. It's beautiful. This is a statement. It's beautiful is a statement, isn't it? He has been, hasn't he? You can, can't you? It must be, mustn't it? You know him, don't you? He finished it, didn't he? He will come, won't he? This dress is looking nice, isn't it? Now here, in all these questions, the question tags are, isn't it, hasn't he, can't you, mustn't it, don't you, didn't he, won't he, isn't it? How we explain to it? The question tags are always used in a spoken English, but not in a formal or written English. They are not really question, but are a way of asking a person. In a normal conversation, these tags are used. Making a tag is very mechanical. To make a tag, use the first auxiliary. Auxiliary verbs, you know, helping verbs, we use them to make a tag. If there is no auxiliary, use do, doesn't, or did. With a positive sentence, make a negative tag, and with a negative sentence, make a positive tag. As I have already explained to you, see this example. It's beautiful positive, isn't it negative? Then you can, can't you, with positive, one negative. He will come, won't he, with positive, negative. This is how question tags are used. Now come to the next topic of this session, that is story with one character. We are going to discuss a story here with one character. Now let's see the story. Once there was a little pink rosebud. Rosebud is the main character of the story, and the whole story will be around Rosebud. And she lived down in a little dark house under the ground. One day she was sitting there all by herself, and it was very still. Suddenly she heard a little tap, tap, tap at the door. "Who is that?" she said. "It's the rain, and I want to come in," said a soft, sad little voice. "No, you can't come in," the little rosebud said. By and by she heard another little tap, tap, tap on the window pane. "Who is there?" she said. The same soft little voice answered, "It's the rain, and I want to come in." "No, you can't come in," said the little rosebud. Then it was very still for a long time. "No, you can't come in," said the little rosebud. Then what was still for a long time? There was no sound. Now let's start with the story with one character. Now in this story you will find that the whole story is circling around the one main character. Once there was a little pink rosebud, and she lived down in a little dark house under the ground. One day she was sitting there all by herself, and it was very still. Suddenly she heard a little tap, tap, tap at the door. "Who is that?" she said. "It's the rain, and I want to come in," said a soft, sad little voice. "No, you can't come in," the little rosebud said. By and by she heard another little tap, tap, tap on the window pane. "Who is there?" she said. The same soft little voice answered, "It's the rain, and I want to come in." "No, you can't come in," said the little rosebud. Then it was very still for a long time. At last there came a little rustling, whispering sound all round the window. Rustle, whisper, whisper. "Who is there?" said the little rosebud. She was curious to know that what kind of sound was there. "It's the sunshine," said the little soft, cheery voice, "and I want to come in." "No, no," said the little pink rose, "you can't come in." And she sat still again. Pretty soon she heard the sweet little rustling noise at the keyhole. "Who is there?" she said. "It's the sunshine," said the cheery little voice, "and I want to come in. I want to come in." "No, no," said the little pink rose, "you cannot come in." By and by, and as she sat so still, she heard tap, 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 and rustle, whisper, rustle, all up and down the window pane, and on the door, and at the keyhole. It's the rain and the sun. The rain and the sun said, two little voices together, "And we want to come in, we want to come in, we want to come in." "Dear, dear," said the little rosebud, "if there are two of you, I suppose I shall have to let you in. So she opened the door a little wee crack, and in they came. And one took one of her little hands, and the other took her other little hand, and they ran, with a right up to the top to the ground. And they said, "Poke your head through." So she poked her head through, and she was in the midst of a beautiful garden. It was springtime, and all the other flowers had their heads poked through, and she was the prettiest little pink rose in the whole garden. So you have seen, this story was all around that little pink rose and a happy end of the story. So you can imagine yourself as a little pink rose and give an account of the whole affair from your point of view. As you have seen in this story, the whole story is around the pink rose. So you can imagine yourself to be a pink rose, and then you can write a story from the taking clues from the story. This is all about today's session. Thank you.